Spooky season is officially upon us, and to celebrate one of my favorite times of the year, I hatched 450 spooky Pokemon eggs in an effort to breed as many shiny spooky Pokemon as I possibly could. And with the release of the Teal Mask DLC for Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, we have so many more spooky Pokemon to choose from, including some spookies with amazing shinies. Fan favorites such as Duskull, Chandelure, and Phantom return in the DLC, as well as some new spooky Pokemon like Poltergeist and Sinistra. So with warm, spooky time feelings in my heart, I set up a picnic for myself outside of Medali, bought myself some Conte du Fee for that delicious egg power level 2, and sent out my first 2 Pokemon to start making babies. The first of which was a blue amorphous blob, which I definitely 100% legally imported from Japan. And the other was Hisuian ZORUA. And yes, I know it's technically not in the game, but I mean, it's totally available as a pre-order gift. And you know what? He's a spooky boy and I love him, so we're rolling with it. But with that out of the way, everything was set, and now it was time to play everyone's favorite game of sit around and wait while these 2 Pokemon do what Pokemon do to make babies. Anyways, 30 minutes flew by like it was 30 seconds, our egg power vanished from our delicious gourmet meal, and we officially had our 90 Hisuian ZORUA eggs. So I packed up my picnic set, sent my Ditto and ZORUA back to their box to rest after their long session of exercise, and got to hatching my first batch of spoopy eggs. And with that out of the way, it was finally time to start hatching some eggs. So I grabbed my first batch of eggs out of my boxes, threw in a Pokemon with Flame Body to speed up the whole process, and headed out to start hatching eggs and looking out for the purple and white Trickster Fox. And it's also worth noting that I'm doing this outside of Medali because I not only have access to the restaurant that sells Conte du Fee, which gives me egg power level 2, but I also have a nice clear spot right outside of town where I can set up picnics really quickly after getting that egg power level 2. And when I'm hatching eggs, I have a nice scenic loop that I can run along that allows me to hatch just like so many eggs in one loop, and also allows me the chance to catch other shiny Pokemon. So I spent the next 2 hours running around in between Blissey raids, hatching as many eggs as I possibly could. And somehow I managed to hatch all 90 Hisuian ZORUA eggs that I had collected. And while most of the eggs turned out like this... Nope, no ZORUA. No shiny boy. No purple. Egg number 73 turned out just a little bit different. Oh, let's go! No way! Yo! Yes! There was no way! That's amazing! Oh, it's such a good shiny too! That's incredible! Oh, chat, there's a reason I started with this one, because it is a beautiful, beautiful shiny. Oh, that's so good! That's right, we managed to hatch shiny Hisuian ZORUA in only 73 eggs. And since I did this live and chat kept telling me it wasn't going to happen, I decided to let them name it. Chat, I'm gonna let you guys name this one, okay? I'm gonna let you guys name this one, alright? And while there were plenty of good names, Fortnite Goku, or you're scamming us. Okay, I am seeing a lot of Fortnite Goku. We eventually settled on Spoopy, with 3 O's of course for extra flair. So far at this point, we've hatched around 90 Hisuian ZORUA eggs, which was all I had at the moment, and since I got this beautiful shiny this quickly, it was time to move on to our next Pokemon. So I sent ZORUA back to its box for some much needed rest, and to enjoy the company of its new shiny child. But Ditto still had some business to do, so it was back to work for him. With that, I settled on MIMKYU as the next Pokemon in the lineup and got back to work making Pokemon babies. It's also important to note that while I did hatch these eggs on stream, I didn't collect them on stream. I mean, there's no point in chat sitting around for 2 hours while I collect 3 boxes of eggs, right? So I would spend my time off stream forcing my Pokemon to breed and collecting their eggs, all while sitting back watching my favorite YouTube videos. Oh, and writing this script too. But once I'd collected enough eggs, it was time to get back to work. So on the next stream, we started looking for our favorite shiny ghost Pikachu. And for the most part, this hunt was pretty uneventful. I mean, I know 90 eggs might seem like a lot, but in reality, every single one of these eggs is well under odds for being a shiny. And that's because when you're hunting eggs in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you have a base odds of 1 in 4,096 for that egg to be shiny. But if you use the Masuda method using a foreign Ditto, your odds drop down to 1 in 683. Add the shiny charm into the mix, and those odds drop down to 1 in 512. So yeah, even with the shiny charm, we're still way under odds for finding a shiny in 90 eggs. Regardless, I decided to mix things up this time and do laps around the Kitakami region while hunting for shiny MIMKYU. And I did this for about 2 hours, still doing this in between Blissey raids with chat. And most of my eggs still ended up like this. It looks white, it's gray, but it's already gray. And just like that, all the MIMKYU eggs I had collected had been hatched, and it was time for MIMKYU to get some much needed rest. But not for Ditto. Ditto still had work to do. Next up on the list was Duskull, not only because it's the spookiest of boys, but because its shiny is incredible. And with that, it was time to get back to work. So I grabbed myself a Duskull out of the box, and well, yeah, by this point, you should know how this goes. I grabbed my favorite egg power dish, threw out my picnic, and played the game of sit around and wait for eggs to magically appear in the basket. This time around, I wanted to make things a little bit more interesting. So I hatched eggs by doing laps around the entire Paldea region, just to see how many sets of eggs I could hatch during a single lap around the map. Yeah, it turns out it's a lot of eggs. Nonetheless, I continued my journey around the Paldean map for about 2 hours, and most of my eggs ended up like this. Nope, still no shiny. And sadly, this trend continued for the remainder of the Duskull eggs that I had. We went a full 90 Duskull eggs and didn't get the one shiny I really wanted for this hunt. But just when I was about to give up hope, I had a community member tell me in chat that they had a surprise for me, and that all I needed to do was link trade them one of the Duskulls that I had gotten from this hunt. And I think to no one's surprise, this is what happened next. Hey, look at that! It's beautiful! Looks better on home. Well, you know, that's probably true. Man, look at that beautiful shiny. Oh, Morse, you are absolutely amazing. What a wonderful human being. And it's even got the Go logo on it, so I know it's legit. Beautiful. So even though we didn't end up hatching shiny Duskull, because of the generosity and the amazing people in my community, we were still able to get ourselves shiny Duskull for this challenge. Next up in the batting order was one of the shinies I was the most excited about, Phantump. Phantump is already one of my favorite ghost-type Pokemon just because of how cute it is. But its shiny, along with its evolution Trevenant, are just on a whole nother level. So, needless to say, I was a little excited to get this hunt going. And by now, you know the drill. We ate some delicious French cuisine, tossed up a picnic outside Medali, and waited for those delicious eggy boys to show up in our basket. And at this point, I've collected a lot of eggs, and I've learned a few things that make the process a little easier. First, it's gonna take you about 2 sandwiches and or meals to collect between 90 and 100 eggs, which means if you do everything correctly, you should have about 100 eggs per hour if you're constantly checking your basket. Second, and I can't stress this enough, if you're gonna do this on your own, take your Switch out of the dock, put it on mute, and go watch your favorite TV show while you're doing this. Trust me, sitting there having to check your Switch every 2 minutes is a lot easier in handheld mode than trying to do that just looking at the screen. So with all the beautiful Phantom eggs finally gathered up, it was time to venture out and hopefully hatch ourselves one of the best ghost shinies in the game. But at this point, you guys already know how this works. I ran around for about 2 hours, hatched eggs, hoped for a shiny, but most of the time ended up with this. Nope, non-shiny. But just like that, 2 hours flew by, every Phantom egg had been hatched, and Phantom was retired to its luxury condo in the storage boxes. And it was time to move on to our 5th and final Pokemon. And you know I had to save the best Pokemon for last. So our final 90 eggs were going to be Litwick eggs. And I know what you're thinking, why in the world would you save Litwick for the last Pokemon to shiny hunt? And I'll tell you, it's because Chandelure is one of the best shiny Pokemon in the game. I mean, look at this Pokemon and tell me that it's not beautiful. So of course, we're gonna hunt for shiny Litwick in the last 90 eggs that we have of this challenge. So for the final time, I got myself a delicious Egg Power Level 2 meal, hustled out to the outskirts of Medali, threw out my picnic, and waited around for eggs to pop in the basket for the final time. And just like that, I had collected all 90 Litwick eggs I needed to finish the last round of this challenge. Now, it was just time to go out and hatch them. And for the last go about, you know I had to take things back to where we started, so for this one, we're doing laps outside of Medali for one last time. And just like every other time, I spent the next 2 hours running around hatching eggs. And to no one's surprise, most of the eggs turned out like this. Is this it? Is this shiny Litwick? No, of course it's not, because you know, why would it be shiny Litwick? Yeah, if it's not obvious by now, things were not necessarily going great at this point. I had hatched almost 400 eggs and only gotten 2 shinies, and one of them I didn't even hatch. It was traded to me by a viewer. So I was kinda disappointed, but I'd had a great time doing this, and as soon as I thought I was down and out, this happened. Like the that's a no! No! No, it's a shiny Palmon! No, you get back here. Don't you disappear. Don't you disappear. I just about missed you. Oh, he's so beautiful! Oh, he's so beautiful! Oh, I'm so glad I caught that. Whew! Dude, I will 100% take shiny Palmo. I mean, it's definitely not shiny Litwick, but I mean, come on. Shiny Palmo is definitely a good shiny to find. Regardless, I continued the never-ending cycle of hatching Litwick eggs and continually being disappointed when they didn't come up shiny. And before I knew it, I had hatched all 90 Litwick eggs that I had. Man. That is 90. That is 90 Litwick eggs. And not a single shiny out of that 90 Litwick eggs. Holy cow. Woo, that's rough. But with all the Litwick eggs finally hatched, that officially brought an end to my spooky egg challenge. But you know what? I think my reaction at the end of this kinda sums everything up really well. That is every single ghost Pokemon I had. All of the eggs hatched. That is 360 eggs sitting in here. Holy cow, that's insane. But with that, there you have it. I hatched 450 spooky Pokemon eggs just in time for Halloween and only managed to get technically 3 shinies out of the entire thing. But more importantly than that, I got to enjoy the process, relax, and do something creative. And of course, torture Ditto like nobody's business. This challenge was honestly such a blast, and I can't even begin to express how much I enjoyed getting to hatch all of these eggs on stream with my community, and just getting to have a good time doing this. So if you want to see more challenges like this, make sure and leave a like on the video because it helps out a lot. And also consider subscribing so you don't miss out on more of the fun and chaos that goes on when we do things like this. Oh, and of course, happy spoopy season. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.